sitting. Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. So I don't have a ton of time this morning. It was a bit of a rough night, and I just wanted to come and update you all on it. And unfortunately, yes, use device. And honestly, this video. I'm gonna turn that off. That fan. Just a moment. Almost didn't happen until tonight, but gosh, I'm not very awake. I just woke up. In fact, I'm not going to put all chat on right now because I don't really want the chat to distract me. As much as I'm usually okay and appreciate the chat, I will say that I would rather this not get comments. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait. Um, I'll put the information somewhere and say it once there's people here. Um, I need a bit of water. I'm really dry when I woke up this morning with my so I've got about 10 to 15 minutes. So sorry about the lighting, but yeah. And the only symptom I'm having right now is the kind of feeling dry mouth, um, which I don't even. It is kind of a symptom in a way, but um, otherwise I don't know if I would have been able to get back to sleep or what. Basically, when I went to bed last night, the anemia was acting up. My feet were cold, started warming up. My nose, my neck, kind of progressively. And I guess I got to sleep for about an hour. I woke up, and oh, by the way, I just want to quickly say a message to, well, anybody, but especially Doug Raven, because as somebody tuned right, it's right at that moment, because I can understand that this particular new friend, but still, um, might hear some of this and think that, and like I said, I totally understand that, has been through way too much loss and of loved ones and connections. And, Mark nailed it when he said, you fear sometimes making connections because of chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not, because of passing aways and fallouts and stuff. I'll touch on that in a moment. But basically, we just get to cherish uh, the time that we do have connecting to each other and appreciate that. That when I pass to my loved ones and YouTube community friends, uh, make no mistake that I will visit you in spirit, in some very lovely and special ways. I'm sure that I will be okay. I've woken up to the day. The sun's not very much out, and I still haven't had some water. But basically, yeah. So Ozark, if you're one of the two people that just tuned in, uh, watch the first 4 minutes of this for sure. Three people now, because yeah, yeah, I've especially got your mind in that. I want to say also too that the people that I meet on here, including recently, um, and that you really do matter to me. You really do, and I see the ways in which we relate to each other, and the good conversations that we have, and the things that we have in common, and the pains that we maybe both struggle with, whatever, and it makes our connection strong. I need a sip of water just a moment. So, Although I could have used the extra sleep, you know, it's not just material stuff, but you know, I don't want to get into too much details, but where G works, it's largely about material stuff, but for those in need, although anybody can go. And basically, so I feel mixed about that and all that. But anyway, so basically, the anemia was really acting up. Then it settled. I got to sleep for about an hour. I woke up, um, and almost instantly, my chest was very uncomfortable. Um, the hands were tingling. They sometimes do that with the neuropathy. Um, and I can't remember exactly what I had felt, but those things for sure. Not a lot more than that. And yeah, I haven't been awake very long. And I didn't sleep very well last night. I'm noticing the bags under my eyes actually, so it's kind of maybe all right that I'm doing this in low lighting. Anyway, and basically, um, I appreciate your care and curiosity. Um, I really should have a bit more water. There wasn't that much in that bottle. But basically, I didn't feel like it was serious enough to disrupt or disrupt the household and me trying to sleep. I almost did though. I tell you that much. To have the ambulance come and have to go spend time at the hospital. You know, and I'm glad that I didn't. That I stayed calm. I breathed. I took a breath. It was interesting with the. And again, message to Ozark in the beginning of this, especially Ozark, but not only him. Um, anyway, um, the pre-diabetes to diabetes. Um, it was interesting. I'm not yet testing um, levels and doing anything with insulin or anything like that, other than what's happening naturally. But I told myself that it had been quite a while since I'd had anything with sugar. Like as far as like early evening, and we were talking about like almost 2 in the morning. So I thought, well, that would tell me then that my levels aren't high. So I went downstairs, I had some fruit juice, and what goes perfectly with fruit juice in moments like this? A handful of chocolate chips. And moved a little bit, moved around. Um, I almost had to do this in another way, but um, I appreciate this far in. I will say, if anybody that sees this once it's posted, please don't comment until the evening. As far as about the health stuff, this is a channel that two of us in the house um, use, and even though we communicate pretty well with each other, um, with this kind of stuff, it's kind of you get hesitant to talk about it because you worry about worrying loved ones, right? Um, it's in a way good though that I made this connection with this Ozark individual because well, first of all, let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was the most disruptive night health wise. And again, message was like at the beginning. Just want to make sure that if the people that just tuned in, if either of you are that individual, I mean, it's a message for everybody, but especially that person because of the things that you've been going through recently. Um, but anyway, basic and anyone else who relates to it, but and it especially that has made connections with me here. Basically, though, yeah. So I even I even said a bit of a prayer, which is not something I do. Um, you know, um, I've never really been a strong believer in prayer. I feel like there's, people whether people are strong believers or not, or just somewhat believers, there's always people, um, you know, I have pretty strong reasons to believe that there is a God, although I have a wavering faith. And I'm not here to talk much about religion. But I also feel like, he's not almighty. And that, there's thousands or more, would you have, there's thousands or more people all at once praying. I don't think anybody, even God, could hear each and every one. And I don't want to disappoint people who feel like, if you feel like prayer works in your life or that it's helpful for you to do it, keep doing it. You know, um, also try and get the help that you need from the universe and your loved ones, when you feel like you need it. But I felt like because I got quite anxious, I guess I would say. I thought, okay, am I dying tonight? You know? And so I pretty much said it to my angels and made sure to include God too. And I pretty much just said, I know that sometimes I speak as if I'm ready. I'm not. I'm not. Please give me a bit longer. I said, I know that, and let me see here for a moment. I says, I know that um, I've been meaning to go get my lab test for a few days, and the weather's just been too cold to do it by foot. And with the anemia, I I'm more sensitive to that. It's unfortunate that this is happening at this time of year. Uh, you know, even on the mild days, you add the wind chill to it, and if there is a wind, and if it's not that sunny, although even if it is sunny, it can still be pretty chilly. And it's like, and I was in a phone meeting till like 11:30 in the morning, um, the day that they were open on the weekend, and I knew I wasn't going to get there in half an hour. Um, so, but I said to my angels and they could pass it along to God, perhaps. I said, you know, I am going to make sure that one way or another I go get my lab test done. I woke up feeling not too bad, but I'm waking up fast. I don't have a lot of time, but and I should be having coffee, but well, actually, I'm tempted, but kind of we get on with our usual routine in the next 10 minutes, and well, why don't I go heat it up and have a sip? But I'm not having a cookie with it, even with yogurt on top. you know, because I realize that that's just maybe too much sugar for my system at this time in the morning. Um, but anyway, so basically, now you really gotta see those bags under my eyes. Like I got two, three, four, maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep when I'm used to seven, sometimes eight. Anyway, but I think a warm beverage would be good for my throat. Because none of the waters are super cold, and my teeth couldn't do it if they were. My gums are too sensitive and stuff. Um, so yeah, I'll be having eaten crackers and maybe some yogurt with them. I don't know. Anywho, so um, I said I would make sure one way or another I get the test. And it occurred to me when I came downstairs through the night. It occurred to me, and oh, the other really sweet thing that happened is our dog usually lays at the one corner of the bed, but I brought him closer to where, the side I was mostly laying on, to give him more than two people. Huh? I'm not getting specific. Uh, I was, and he was having a bit of a right, not just because of me, and was actually being pretty calm too. But the dog, yeah, I brought him there, and he almost didn't seem like he was going to. There's not that much in there though. I'm gonna have to make more, which means I'm not drinking it, but whatever. Anyway, until after I'm done this. But anyway, and yeah, he had been sleeping, but he may have slightly. I don't think he. Well, when I came back in the room, he was still laying completely on his side, and I brought him over and I put him down and kind of went like this, and was laying really nice. But then I was trying to get, my I was feeling cold, and I was trying to get rid of, and and it took a bit of effort, and there was a couple times where he almost got up, but I got him to, and he was pressing his paws into my chest to kind of to prop himself, and 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 then he did eventually, you know, either go back to that other part of the bed or the floor. But but anyway, yeah. So but that conversation with my new friend Ozark there really stood out to me because um, don't mind having the sheet on. I'm really chilly, and I guess I could put a sweater on, but uh, or that other thing. But it's early, and this is what I'm doing, so it's fine. Anyway, basically, um, um, you know, the buddy has went through a lot of loss and sadness lately, and it was the day that we met. I think he was just scrolling live, looking for someone to. Well, actually, I was gonna say looking for someone to open up to and express the pain to. Um, but actually, initially, no. He came into my video with positivity and said, "I'm just stopping by with this bit of positivity." And says, "I hope you can stay for a little while." And I don't remember exactly what else I said, but he did stay. So again, with the health stuff, I would appreciate if we wait until the next live stream, probably tonight, because I'd rather talk about it in the chat than in the comments. There was something I was going to specifically ask about in the comments, but I can't remember what it was. So that might be this whole thing, because yes, he's going to need the device soon to head to work. In a couple of days, I will hopefully have my new cell phone. I'm not counting how much coffee I'm putting in there. But anyway, one of the things that had happened to him, and if you just tuned in, yeah, I'm mentioning this, but I'll say why in a moment, is that he found his cat on the side of the road, had been hit by a car. Now, I know that even though it's not that far, I'm not going to be able to walk to the lab today. With how I'm feeling physically, but also my sensitivity to the cold with my anemia. Even if it is a bit mild, or again, you add into any wind on top of it, it's, so I thought, well, one person has to bring her old, also possibly dying dog to the vet after a half day of work. One is also family who I didn't want to worry. I mean, both of those two are. I thought of a lady across the street, and she is usually an early riser, or if she's not, she's quite busy once she rises. Because there've been a couple times, like even at like 11 o'clock, you know, um, where it seems like she's just waking up, which is how it should seem for me, by the way, just so you know. Anyway, so basically, oh, G makes a lot more. Oh, hello from Canada. I'm talking, actually, I haven't been talking really fast, but I only actually have a few minutes more to do this video at the moment. I appreciate you being here. You're welcome to browse the channel and the other lives, and I guess you're probably wrapping up your day as well, maybe. I'm not sure, in Ireland. So I do thank you for being here. I almost want to try an Irish accent, but I both don't want to offend and also want to finish up what I was saying. But yeah. So yeah, basically, yeah, it's probably because of, I was stating that, but it could be wrong. Anyway, this is G's coffee. I could tell because he makes more of it, and the pot was quite heavy. Anywho, so basically, all good, and it's not that late. Okay, well, yeah, I know the UK is only 6 hours, but yeah, I really would have loved to have chatted longer. I will be rolling again tonight, but you might be sleeping then. But yeah, feel free to check out the lives. I would love to get to know you. It's actually very interesting if your name is Gary, Gar, because that's not only um, somebody in my medical team's name. I don't have a medical team, but there's a couple individuals. But also, it's my dad's name. But also, the second part almost looks like a French version of Gary or something. Anyway, point out a being is this lady on the street. Yeah, she has a cat, and it's gotten out before. It's an indoor cat, and it's gotten out before. And I thought, I don't want to be, even if it's important, even if it's serious. I don't want to be. Oh, Gareth. Okay, cool. I grew up with one of those as a kid. Um, um, I don't want to be the reason that her cat gets out, and whether she went walking around trying to find it, which she probably would, or not. What if she didn't? What if it, that's her friend? She does live a fairly social life. In the summer, she golfs a lot and she curls. It's a sport that's popular in at least Canada, but probably didn't originate in Canada. I don't know. She does curling quite a bit, not just her hair. Actually, not her hair. Her hair's pretty short. but um, and she doesn't like to seem to be at home very much. So I don't know what else she does, but she doesn't have kids. She might. Well, actually, yeah, I don't know if she has kids. She might have grandkids. I know that a little while ago we found out that her sister is in an old age home. Like she's in her 70s, and her sister must be older, or maybe isn't. I don't know. So she's probably, and you never know what people are going through too, right? And also, she might run into G every now and then, and say, who knows what we might talk about in that short car ride, and just a moment. Okay, I got to get back up there. Okay. Anyway, yeah, she wouldn't in the cold. But yeah, it's always physical activity that I think really helps her. Anyway, part of the matter being is that I didn't want to be responsible for her cat getting loose on her because I came to her door. So I would probably have to use money, even though I'm trying to take care of my health, and probably cab because I have more money in bills, which I was going to use at the grocery store actually, than I have in coins. Although we do have some coins floating around. So, okay, now this is being stupid. So I might check. I'll have to play with this later. Our coffee maker's sometimes wonky. Anywho, so yeah, that's probably the way that it's going to be. It's a bit cheaper by the bus. And that we have one in our area. There's a few areas in our city that have one that you can call, and it'll go right where you want it to pick it up. Usually, but not always punctual, and right where you want to be dropped off. You don't have to stand around waiting at bus stops or do changes or anything. Um, but I need to get some of that back out of me. Some of that's maybe not healthy. And then see how quickly I can find out about results and see what I do. So, um, so that's what I will be doing today. I want to let myself wake up a little bit, but otherwise I don't know how much of a rush. But yeah, so anyway, but yeah, that was kind of the most disruptive night I'd had in a while. And I really could stand to have more sleep, but I want to get this taken care of. And once the sun's out, I won't be. Anyway, gotta wrap up, but that's the update, and here I am to give it. And you can fix that. Whoops, it comes all the way off. Yeah. It feels like kind of an interpret too. So I'm sure I'll be fine. But yeah, I just wanted to let people know it's the case. But yeah, okay, talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and there was some retention, but